We'd often wonder at times, what does the Bible say about those maybe that would come against us, or maybe those that are not the closest to us, and how we should treat them? Well, the Bible's very clear. In the book of 1 Thessalonians, chapter 5, verse 15, it says, "See that no one render evil for evil unto any man, but ever follow that which is good, both among yourselves and all men." Now, it's a very interesting scripture, especially for today's time, with so much division and disagreements on things. We begin to wonder in the Christian community how that we treat others around us. Now, it's very easy to have the me, my four, and no more mentality, to where if we just look around those that are in our congregation, they are going to be the ones that we treat with respect and dignity and kindness. But oftentimes we look at those that are not within our fold or our circle, and we begin to push them away, and we ostracize them and shut them down. I make the illustration often to East Fork, where I pastor. I make the illustration often that when I was a young man in high school, unchurched and unfamiliar with the gospel, I worked at a grocery store, and the day that I regretted the most having to work was Sunday afternoon, when all of the people dressed real nice would come in and with bad attitudes and no smiles and frowns, and they were the hardest to bag for, you know what I'm saying. And so we look at this, and somehow we get this idea in our mind as Christians that those that we're to be good or loving or kind or patient to are those that maybe share our same beliefs. And that's just not true. Christ said, He said, love them and do good to them which despise you and persecute you. And as we find so many times in the scriptures that we're to be different than what this world calls us to be. This world says that we must model after its pattern, and that is we'll just take care of our own. The Christian community was called to do more than that, and is called to do more than that. It is called to reach into the darkness, into those that maybe don't agree with us, maybe don't stand in the places that we stand, and present the glorious gospel of Jesus Christ unto them. It's going to be very hard to do if we're just rendering evil with evil all the time. It's going to be hard to do if we're rendering one smart aleck comment with another. And as we read through the rest of 1 Thessalonians 5, he says, listen, you got to do all this, do good unto yourselves and all men. And then he goes on with, rejoice evermore, pray without ceasing, in everything give thanks. Quench not the spirit, despise not prophesying, improve all things. And then he says, the very God of peace will sanctify you. Now, if you read the rest of that, and I trust that you will today, you'll find that if our attitude towards everybody else is going to stink, then we're not going to be able to accomplish these other things that he says, for this is the will of God concerning you. So as you go your way today, maybe you have that one in your life that, well, let's just be honest, you just cannot tolerate being around them. Let's remember, Christ tolerated us. He went to the cross of Calvary for us. When we were at our worst, the book of Romans teaches us that in that while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. That when we were at our worst, when we were the embodiment and are the embodiment of what put him on the cross, then we must remember that we need to have patience, and we need to do that which is good, not just among ourselves, but to all men. You know, this is the day and hour where Christians, we need to live out our faith. The world needs to see it today. There's enough hurt and heartache. There's enough hatred. There's enough animosity. I think we could all sit down and list hundreds of things that make us angry about our society today. It would do us well in the middle of the week to talk about those things which bring us joy, peace, comfort, and hope. That is Jesus Christ. So I hope that you have a wonderful Wednesday. Pray that God blesses you abundantly, and I pray that if you have time, you have the ability that you'll find yourselves in a prayer meeting tonight somewhere. Have a great day.